We are part of the Fired Up Sports Network of shows. Please check out other Fired Up Sports Network podcasts like the P-Lot Pod, Water Cooler Talk, Bell Smashers, Philly Sports Love and Pain, Drunk on Broad, Beer Battered Sports, and the Fired Up Sports Show, which are available on all major podcasting hosting sites and social media. Also, check out Mark Ramos' Roundup on firedupsports.com, which breaks down the happenings going on with all your favorite local teams.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
Swinging a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup for the lead. Yes!
Iverson, wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
What up? Go Birds!
Go Birds.
Go Birds! Listen, we're Joe and I are here holding it down. Rich is under the weather.
Rich is in the infirmary.
So we'll hold it down. We'll give you our best Rich version of what we got. But Joe, I gotta tell you, we gave you a lot of crap going when you were making your prediction.
Yeah.
I just listen. I'm gonna put myself out there. We gave you a ton of crap about your prediction for the Cowboys game, and out of all of us, yours was probably the most spot on version of what you close game, back and forth, right? I mean, you didn't have Jalen Carter getting kicked out before the game.
Yeah,
even started.
that wasn't on my bingo card.
We didn't have the lightning weather delay, but you were spot on with the close game, man. And it was but to see how this team has been as resilient as they've been in these first two games, essentially kind of ironing out the kinks of the preseason. This game against the Chiefs, obviously we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about next week with the Rams. We'll talk a little tush push nonsense. I got to have the brotherly shove shirt on tonight because,
That's what it's about.
This shirt's going to be viable forever, but the play might not be viable after this season if they have their way. We'll talk a little fantasy. Talk to me about this game with the Chiefs, because this game with the Chiefs kind of, it was close, a lot closer than I think Rich and I thought maybe going into last week. We thought the obvious tells with where the talent level was and the players that the Chiefs were missing. But the Chiefs kept it close with the resources that they had. I think for me, I like the way that this team battled. They did what they had to do to win the game. And at the end of the day,
That's all that matters.
that's all that matters, right? And Joe, in the last, 19 games, they're 18-1.
I mean,
It's kind of hard to argue with the results.
you can't. It's it's kind of like a broken record with being winners, being at the top, but somebody's got to do it, and now it's us. So if you look at, and I don't like to look at this year and look at last year, but I mean, you kind of have to when it comes to today's NFL with who plays in the preseason, who doesn't play in the preseason. No, none of the starters play in the preseason. There's no camaraderie. There's no time. You can't get any sense of cohesion or your timing down or just reps. I mean, it's any sport where you need, you're going to take batting practice. You're going to do fielding. And when it comes to with football, it's, timing routes, fade routes, just getting that rapport with offensive linemen, all in sync, everybody knows the cadence. It's everybody's doing their job when they're supposed to do their job.
Yeah.
So this was game 2 of quote unquote the preseason. So
Right.
you're seeing the good, you're seeing the bad, but I mean you have two games where you eked out a win where there's so much room for improvement. But the bottom line is they were both W's. So you're already, you know, a step ahead if you wanted to, compare last year's team to this year's
Yeah.
team. Like you said, Don, it doesn't matter, and the coach preaches it, the quarterback preaches it. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's all about who has more points at the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, and we're kind of bouncing around with this, like with the different events that happen throughout the game, but let's just start at the end, right? The clip of Chris Jones whining at the end of the game, essentially trying to give Jalen Hurts crap going, telling him like, "Oh, you didn't even you barely threw for 100 yards." Whatever, like, and to have the poise and the confidence in that moment to be like, "But we got the W," and that's really all. Like, for whatever crap you want to give him, he lived by that. Keep the main thing the main thing.
Yep.
And the main thing is winning the games.
Yep.
Right? You can have all the stat padding you want. You can have like this game, like a lot of the conversation. Well, this game between the Eagles and Chiefs was boring.
Yeah.
Oh, like if you wanted to watch a really up and down exciting game, you can watch the Cowboys and Giants battle it out, and there's no defense anywhere.
Right.
Right. And, for whatever it's worth, Russell Wilson threw for 450
Outrageous.
yards, which is crazy. Right.
Yep.
It takes the Cowboys till overtime, the end of overtime, to kick a field goal to win a game against the Giants.
The Giants.
A game against the Giants that the Giants had all the business winning. The fact that like this, Jalen Hurts threw for 101 yards. He was 15 of 22. I know that, and this is something else we can get into, right? I know there's a lot of conversation about the passing game, right? That there's not a lot of depth. That the yardage for the balls in the air is like there's not a lot of yardage. There's not a lot of attempts past 10 yards. I know that in this game there was a lot of third and longs that they ran the ball, kicked it, and trusted the defense to be able to make those stops, because the only offensive weapon that the Chiefs had in this game was Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes with his arm, Patrick Mahomes with his legs. Right? He was their leading passer, leading rusher. And yeah, they had a couple of plays that they missed and missed big.
Yeah.
That obviously changed the entire complexion of the game. But at the same time, you watch this offense be methodical. You watch them, again, do what they had to do. Saquon Barkley with the 22 rushes for the 88 yards. But like, Joe, the play that he scores on the touchdown, that play would have been a touchdown from anywhere on the field. It just so happened to be
at the 13-yard line.
Correct.
Yeah, there were several plays going back and looking at the tape and seeing the stuff online. There were a couple plays where he was one guy from breaking it. And they say, oh well, Saquon didn't have that great of a game. Well, he scored a touchdown and he had about 90 yards. So just the fact that the threat. Looking at the Super Bowl against them, he had a better game than he did in the Super Bowl. I think he had 57 yards rushing. So I'll take it all day. But it's not putting the ball in harm's way. Ball security. Everybody on the same page with their assignments, and making the plays when you have to make the play to move the sticks, to run the clock. The passing game it'll come at some point. I'm not worried about that, because they're trying to feel things out. They're trying to see, what their strengths and weaknesses when it comes to that. You have a new offensive coordinator. Yeah, he's been here for however many years, but he hasn't had that role before. So, and some people say it, some people don't. I still, my personal opinion, I still think some of the passing game, no matter who the coordinator is still you're still getting nuggets of stuff that are
Mhm.
directly from Nick Sirianni.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so the very vanilla playbook. There also could be the fact of maybe Jalen wants to keep it simple. Maybe
Sure.
Jalen doesn't want to get too over the top because his main thing is ball security. He doesn't turn the ball over, making the plays and moving the chain. So, all that stuff is going to come. All that stuff is going to come. You just
Oh, most
hope
definitely.
everybody stays happy with just getting
Mhm.
W's, and it's not about their personal stats or their personal goals.
Listen, Joe, in a game that the Chiefs absolutely wanted, they wanted this game because of what happened in the Super Bowl. And the fact that you've now beaten them twice in the last 3 games, um, and you've dominated the line of scrimmage, right? You've dominated every aspect of that game. I think to be able to do what you did and to know that ball security was going to be something that was paramount in this game. The turning point in the game is the Andrew Makuba
Yeah,
interception, right? The one turnover, right? And it comes off of a bobbled catch from Travis Kelce, bounces up, catches it at the goal line, and takes it out to the 40, which turns into a scoring drive for the Birds. Like I look at this and I go, he knew that ball security was the most important thing, and he took care of the ball, and that is the difference between winning and losing this game. The fact that they were able to get that, and that earlier on in the game, the Chiefs aren't able to convert. Right, Andrew Makuba again. Right, he's the one of the see the defensive player of the week or like the defensive rookie of the week, something like that. Where
so, yeah.
where he's able to he makes not only that play, but earlier on in the game, right, makes the play on I think it was Juju Smith
Third,
Schuster,
third and one. The third and one. It was
right, where he where
Hollywood Brown. Yeah, yep.
Hollywood Brown, right? So it's a crossing pattern, and the closing speed from the time that he catches the ball, it was very reminiscent of a couple of plays that Cooper DeJean made last year, right? On the one on Jamar Chase, the one on Derrick Henry last year, where they're able to make those plays. They're able to get that into their defensive scheme because they know you can't do anything underneath on this team.
Right.
This team is young and fast and athletic. And if you think that you're going to utilize that short yardage stuff, good luck. Good luck with the screen games. Good luck with trying to get guys in space. You can miss them with all that because they've shown you with Jahai Campbell, with Zach Bond, um, with Cooper DeJean, with
Yeah.
now you've seen now with Andrew McCooper, right? The play that he makes to set up the 4th and 1, and then the play that they run that gets stopped because of the pressure from Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter and Moro. It's like you had contributions from everybody, but Andrew Makuba with an incredible week this week and really kind of is show slowly but surely, kind of like Cooper DeJean did last year, right? It's like almost like a slow release, but you're seeing week by week the reason why they picked him and the reason why he's playing early.
Yeah, he's the only I guess knock that he had coming out of college. I mean, the tape spoke for itself. I mean, ball hawk, knack for, that's what they cliche is like. He's really got a nose for the ball. Well, he really does. If you go back and look at his film and look at his tape, I mean, I think last year at Texas, I believe he had like 5 or 6 interceptions, but he's always
Yes.
in on a play. He has that closing speed. The only knock that they really could come up with was he was a little bit undersized, but he certainly doesn't play that way. I mean, he sells out on every play. He's up there trying to knock the guy's block off. So, and he seems to always be in the right position, always in the right place at the right time, which is great to see because you're going to get those bumps in the road, those hiccups when you're throwing rookies out there. But
Right.
he's taking it, hit the ground run with it and run with it. So it's getting the right guys that you can plug in and you can kind of just trust that they're going to do the right thing.
Yeah, I mean the way that this team is playing, man, it truly is a team game, and they're really doing everything that they need to do to be able to win. Now, obviously, the concerns, a lot of the concerns lie in the passing game, right? That the passing game is really conservative, that they're not taking enough shots downfield, and it's hard because in seeing some of the film breakdowns, right? It seems like on that very first play where the blocking breaks down, seems like they were trying to take a deep shot early. There was a deep shot open to
It was
AJ
there.
Brown.
Yeah, it was there.
That was there if the protection is there, right? Now that's where the pass protection breaks down with the tight end with Calcaterra because he's not the blocker that
Dallas Goedert.
Dallas Goedert is, right? And so there are a couple tweaks in there, right? That you saw them try to go downfield with Devontae Smith, where there was a PI that they picked up, and then the other play, the one play downfield where Devontae goes up, catches makes a huge play in that spot.
Yep.
I think the down the field stuff is coming. It's just they're setting, what's the quote, Joe? They're setting up the trends now to be able to break them down the line. I think that this is where they are figuring out what works and what doesn't. I liked what I saw from the run game. I liked what I saw from the offensive line. And I think the utilization of weapons, that's going to come. But you're getting the contributions that you need to be able to win the games. And I can't ask them to do more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that there's a lot of people that want the style points. They want I think because of the way that the season ended, and there were so many big moments down the stretch, right? The big moments in the Packers game, in the Packers playoff game, in the Rams playoff game, in the NFC Championship game, and the Super Bowl. Not only were they big wins, but there were a ton of big, long, exciting plays. And I think a lot of people came into this season anticipating that they were just picking up right where they left off. And I think we have to kind of go back to remember where we were in week 4 going into that bye, right? A team that was 2-2, that played sloppy, that was kind of it was very funky.
Yeah.
And it took for them, even coming out of that bye, that game against the Browns game coming out of the bye looked funky too.
Scrape butt.
Right? So this is kind of where you can see the season starting to turn a little bit, because I think, right, you're gonna have a really, really tough matchup. Yeah, and we'll talk about it in a little bit coming up with the Rams this weekend. Talk to me about the tush push, because this is the it's the unstoppable play meets the it meets the horrible hot takes. I saw there's a really, if people can find it, there's a really good clip of John Gruden breaking down this play.
He's wearing the Jaworski jersey.
He's wearing the Jaws jersey.
Yeah.
It's about 2.5 minutes. And it is what every NFL GM and coach and player should watch. If there are a lot of other teams that have tried to run this play, They just don't run it with the same success. So if you want to stop the play, then you need to change the strategy that you are using to stop the play. You need to change the players that you are putting on the field to stop the play. But
Right.
that is essentially like, just because the team does it well, we don't like it. It started off as like, it's not like it's against the rules, and then it started off
It's
with
a rugby play.
and then it's a play, and then it's a player safety issue, and you know, and now it's a hard play for the officials to officiate. Like, it's just one thing after another after another. And I think the piece that's important in that video is him going through and going, all right, well, the Eagles' offensive line is absolutely dominant, really good. They're all out. They can't play. Denver Carey, the Ravens are really successful in I formation. They can't run that play. Devontae Adams is really good on a deep ball. He can't run that route. Like, if you want to stop the play and it's within the rules, sorry, but not sorry. You should have thought of that first.
Right. Yeah, there's so many different ways to look at it. Being on the Eagles side, trying to think outside the box in the same breath. But I think the fact of the matter is, certain people that don't like it are going to find a way to word it or spin it to where, they're going to wind up voting against it, and they're going to get enough votes to move on from it. Specifically with this Chiefs game, with, lining up, are the Chiefs offside? Are the Eagles lined up offside? Did the Eagles snap the ball early? Was it a false start? Trying to visualize that as, I'm just kind of thinking outside the box here, like trying to put yourself in the shoes of a referee, and then connecting that to the NFL. I think that's where it's going to be, where you're going to see its downfall is going to be, it's too hard to officiate.
I mean,
This is what the league is going to say. This is what the referees, the lead referees, Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell hates it. Goodell is going to do whatever he can to make sure that the tush push doesn't come back next year. However, they need to do that and spin that and make it where we can't they can't justify it moving forward. But
right.
the fact of the matter is, you arguably have the best offensive line in football. They
Right.
have worked on this. They worked on this play in Indianapolis with Nick Sirianni. We talked about it before, but they were able to perfect it here with the personnel that they have here, with a quarterback that can squat 600 pounds. Just the laws of science and physics. We hike the ball first. We've already got whatever it is, a quarter second, a half a second. We've already got to step up on you because we're already moving. You know,
Right.
they've, Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson and Jurgens and everybody knows exactly where to go every single time the play is run. That's why it's got a 90-some% success rate. So,
Right.
look at the Chiefs game. The Chiefs are like, oh, look, they hiked the ball early. It should have been a false start. Look at this play. Look at that play. Well, what about if we're apples to apples? They're lined up in the neutral zone on every one of those tush pushes. So
Mhm.
I get it. Yeah, we quote unquote jumped, moved early. But what about the plays where you guys are lined up off sides? Nobody wants to talk about that. But as the league goes, things go over time. So unfortunately, I think that's what their spin is going to be. Is it's too hard to see the ball. It's too hard to spot the ball. It's too hard to see. If they, like the touchdown that was reviewed, where you could visibly see Jalen Hurts broke the plane. You
Right.
could see the ball. You could see where he was, I mean, you saw it, I saw it, the world saw it. Oh, he's short. How does that happen? So, just the
Yeah.
inconsistencies with the referees trying to make the quote unquote correct call, I think is going to lead to the league saying, it's time for us to move on from it.
I don't know. To
I
me,
hope
it
I'm wrong. Don't
seems.
don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no,
I hope I'm
it
wrong
just,
for forever, but I think right
yeah.
now that's going to be the league's spin um, as after this season.
To me, Joe, it screams of like,
Desperation.
it really just screams to me of like, you're legislating a play out of a game that is one that the team developed within the rules, and you're legislating it out of the game just because they're really good at it, and it's not a pretty looking play. Like this
Makes
is
you
that
makes you nuts.
that it really does, because it really does make you say like, okay, well, how far can you extend that? Like how, just because a team does something really well, now we can figure out ways to legislate the rules out of the game. Like
Yeah.
it makes it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, Joe, anything that we missed, didn't talk about from the Chiefs game that you wanted to touch on before we kind of jump into the Rams game? I think, like for me, I'm looking ahead to this weekend's matchup with the Rams, and I'm looking at this and going, this is going to be another slobber knocker. This is going to be another game that's going to be. I'm really surprised that this game didn't get a more prominent time slot. Right, this is an East Coast 1 o'clock. They're going to be on Red Zone with 9 other games. Where I think this game probably, based on the games from this week, this game could be one of the better matchups of this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's the rematch of the playoff game where, the Green Bay game, it was kind of back and forth, but you kind of felt like the Eagles had that game in hand. And the Ram game was, you know, Barkley breaks that long run. We're up 2 scores, and we're like, all right, well, I'm feeling pretty good about this. And then there goes the Eagles' prevent defense, and they're within a score. They get the ball back late, and Jalen. I mean, you could say what you want, but Jalen Carter saved their season. Jalen Carter doesn't get that sack on Stafford on that play. I mean,
Right.
going back, it's like PTSD of looking at those routes, the route
Mhm.
concept that they were doing on that play. The guy's open. It's at least a first down, if not a score. So they fought us. They fought us right down to the end. So they're going to be looking to try to get back at us. But they're basically the same team, but they added Devontae Adams. So everybody's kind of sweating it out this week with Torrey Jackson. So
Yeah. Yeah. I
it's
mean, listen, Joe.
it's
I
gonna
mean,
be it's gonna be
I
gonna be
get this
back and
feeling
forth.
like he's going to earn his money this week,
Yeah,
because I feel like that wherever they line him up, and we know Stafford, right? Stafford's got the back issues, which could they could enlighten themselves at any moment in time, and but they have a pretty formidable set of offensive weapons, right? You've got Kyron Williams, which is a guy that'll run between the tackles, a guy that'll catch the ball out of the backfield. You've got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams right on the outside, and you've got Tyler Higbee at tight end, which those that while they're not lighting the world on fire, they're all in the upper echelon of players at their position. And you are going to go up against a guy that on one side is a lockdown corner, and then on the other side is a guy who, is a journeyman guy who is serviceable, whose play has, I'll put it in air quotes, gotten better-ish. And I know that they want to try to give him some time to be, but I think that this might be a week, Joe, where you might see Cooper DeJean find Puka Nacua more often than not. I think that this might be, an opportunity to look at that and go, because if I'm the Rams, whoever Adoree Jackson is guarding, that's the guy that's getting the ball. That's the guy that immediately goes to number one on the route tree, regardless of the scheme, because of the way that they know that they can scheme. Right, their job is going to be, how do we scheme to get our best player, one of those two guys, on any play matched up on Adoree Jackson. And until you make the effort and energy to stop that, they're gonna. I get this feeling like they're gonna ride that train
all game.
And and as they should. And they showed you in that playoff game last year, they can be. And this was without Devontae Adams. They can be formidable and fast and score quick from anywhere on the field. It just so happens that they went up against a team that could match them with that firepower. And that's where I think this game is going to be won and lost. It's going to be won and lost.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, with the exception of, like you said, Stafford and his back, but, his vision, his timing, Adams runs great routes. Puka Nacua runs great with. Sean McVay is a very innovative offensive coach. So, as we saw last year, and that was with, a better all-around secondary. You had Isaiah Rodgers, you had Darius Slay. So,
Yeah.
absolutely, this week I'm sure they're chomping at the bit. They're going to be like, yeah, where's Adoree? Whoever's on Adoree, it doesn't matter if he's in the slot, if he's outside, whoever the receiver is. They're going to be, Sean McVay always has an amazing game plan, and he always is very good at doing in-game adjustments. So it's going to be crucial for, Adoree to hold on coverage as long as he can. Don't be out of position. Don't get burnt. Don't try not to get burnt deep. But also too, our pass rush. Looking at Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's only played one game. Jalen Carter is not. You could really tell that he wasn't at full capacity last week with missing the first week. So that's going to be critical and crucial to how things unfold this week, because you're going to have to be able to generate a consistent pass rush where Stafford can't make those timing throws and put the ball through a needle and load up and try to hit those deep shots. So this game it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be huge for the defensive line. Yeah, the secondary, but you can't. If he has time back there, he's going to kill you. So you're going to have to be able to generate and sustain a pass rush the whole game.
Yeah, I think, Joe, the one of the takeaways from the Chiefs game is something that you saw Vic Fangio make adjustments from the Super Bowl to the game they played last week in Kansas City, which is to blitz. Right? They blitzed a lot more, like almost, I want to say they blitzed like 11 or 12 times in that game. And they got home, and it was effective. And I think you could and probably will see Vic Fangio use the blitz to kind of balance out the coverage, right? That the more that you can put pressure and get Stafford off his spot, I think the more likely he is to take chances and potentially make mistakes, which is where this team can capitalize. I think you got guys in the back end of this defense in Reed Blankenship who just has a knack for taking away the ball. We talked about Andrew Makuba, who's another guy who just seems to be able to find the ball and be in the right spot to make a play. So I look at this and go that this is on this game, just like the game they played in the playoffs last year. This game's going to be won and lost in the trenches because they're going to have to be able to get pressure, stop the run and get pressure and get Matt Stafford off his spot. Because if you let him have any kind of clean pocket, he'll just sit back there and nickel and dime you all day long and take whatever you're given. He's a pro's pro. He's thrown for 1 million yards in this league. I think that's going to be the key. Getting pressure, getting him off his spot. Because on offense, as powerful and as many weapons as this offense has for the Birds, they've got a lot of talent on defense too, right? You got a guy in Brandon Fisk who's playing really well. You got, Jared Verse, another guy. You've got, Emmanuel Forbes on the back end. You've got guys, that might not be super household names, but guys that are young and athletic, and guys that really, in that playoff game on passing downs gave Jalen Hurts some fits.
Yeah, they really did. It's going to be. I think, the talk and the chatter. Is AJ happy? What's going on with AJ and Jalen? What's going on with the passing game? It's just like rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. But I think, this is. I think I'm pretty sure I saw somebody put something out there. Witherspoon, the other corner, is out.
He's actually they have it listed. They have him listed on
he was
IR.
Really good last year in last year's playoff game.
Oh yeah, very much.
Really good against the Birds last year. And then Emmanuel Forbes, I flash back to Emmanuel Forbes and AJ Brown going at it when he was with Washington, and he owned them. So I think there's going to be absolutely going to be some extra motivation for AJ, and Patullo and Hurts to get that ball rolling. I mean, right off the bat in the Chiefs game, that if you go back and look at that full screen of that play design, if the protection doesn't break down and Jalen doesn't drop that ball there, I mean, that was a home run. He split the secondary and he had his hand up like, here it is,
almost right away.
Ready.
Yeah.
So, I think they're definitely going to put some plays in that are going to be foolproof. Not even just taking shots down the field. It's if they do blitz, just we need a comeback route, or we need a sit route, or something where there has to be some quick passing too, where you can get a 5-yard pass or a 6-yard pass, or maybe they could break one, but it has to be like 1, 2, 3 ball out, where Jalen trusts it and the guys are there and it's blocked up. So
you got to be able to mix it up. You got to be able to mix up the coverages. You got to be able to mix up the routes. You got to be able to get them and keep them on their toes so that they do have an opportunity to, create that space. I think the more versatile this offense is, I think if you can, this is not new news, Joe, but I get this feeling like Saquon Barkley might have a huge run in him. It feels like in his first 2 games, he was ready to bust one. It was like there was one move, one player away. I mean, he did it to him. He had 4 runs last year, over 60
home
yards.
Runs. Was it over 60 yards?
Right, four rushes over 60 yards against the same team in the same season.
Yeah,
I get this feeling like that they could be in a position to try to do what the Chiefs did, which is sell out to stop Saquon. But I don't think that they have the same type of talent to be able to, which is going to leave holes for them to kind of over pursue. And you saw Saquon on a couple of those runs that like he hit a spot, cut back, and he was gone.
Yep.
And that to me, I think is where the game kind of breaks. Because once he hits those home runs, everything else opens up,
Sure.
right? Because now you play you play protective mode to prevent that from happening, right? And then that opens up stuff for AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert's back at practice today. Seems
That's gonna
like
be
you
huge.
might have him back for this game. Offensive line is, I'm gonna put it in air quotes, healthy, right? They got Landon Dickerson back from having to come out on the opening night game against the Cowboys. I think I'm really surprised, pleasantly surprised with Tyler Steen, right? Tyler Steen was a big question mark going in the season, and he seems like he has kind of taken the reins off of Mekhi Becton and kind of stepped right in and taken over that role and never really let go of it, never really let anyone else have a chance of it. I feel good about this game. I feel good going into this game. Wouldn't surprise me if it's a tight game. To me, this is a game that's going to be played in like the mid-20s.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is like a 27-24, like a 20, like 31-28. I feel like this is going to be a game that I feel like it has the potential to go back and forth. But I feel like, Joe, it also has the potential to be completely one-sided for the Birds. It's like this is a game that I don't know. It just the thing that is also important to keep in mind is it's going to be a team traveling west to east, playing early. It'll essentially be 10 o'clock body clock time for them. So the fact that you're going to have them playing at an early time on the East Coast after flying cross country. I don't know about you, Joe, but I think they try to come out early. They try to hit them in the mouth early, and potentially give them the opportunity to kind of salt this game away. But I feel like it has the potential because of the weapons and the matchups that it could go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they're Dallas Goedert. I'm thinking that he's probably going to play this week, and that's something that I had talked about. Oh God, probably before this, after last season or in the off season leading up to this year was, Calcaterra I think he's a serviceable tight end, but I'm surprised that they didn't go out and draft somebody, groom somebody, or even just bring in a guy, a cheap free agent off the street. Where
I get this feeling, Joe, like they had their eye on somebody. Like Fannin was a guy that they had their eye on.
That's who I wanted. Yeah, that's who I wanted.
And the Jason Taylor's kid from LSU. I feel like they had their eye on both of those guys. And just based on where the draft fell, I feel like both of those guys got drafted a lot earlier than they had anticipated.
Right.
And that they didn't necessarily. But I think that the writing is on the wall. I think that that's a position that they address with some draft picks and with some youth in the coming draft.
Sure. Yeah. But not to harp on the tight end position, but it's I mean, the Eagles are going to come out. They're at home. It's a day home game. They're going to come out, and I think they're going to see what they're going to feel out the Rams, but they're also going to take they're going to take their shots. But I think that they're just going to have to they're going to have to hit a play. They're going to have to hit a big play. They really need to get AJ. Sounds like a broken record, but I just don't understand. Just a slant route, a crosser. There's got to be something in the repertoire here where as a top player in any league, who's one of the best in the league, you want to get your hand on the ball. You want to feel like you're part of the game. And you want to feel like a part of the game early and often. So I think it's going to be. I think you're going to see AJ get a lot of touches. I think obviously Devontae. I think Devontae is going to play this week. I think his back is fine. But yeah,
Joe. How about Joe? I gotta stop. How about the Jalen Hurts quote?
Which one? The one with Chris Jones?
No. The one with Devontae Smith. God, I gotta find it because I
Oh
don't.
yeah,
This
yeah. He
this is.
always it's just like right on. It's just like it comes out of the air, man.
I gotta find it because it was so. He came down on his back, but he came up in the clutch.
Yeah.
Like, and that, Joe, you can tell that thing rolled right off his tongue, and you saw, like, he smiled ear to ear because
Yep.
he knew he had come up with one that
He's
was
like, I got
probably
another
gonna.
one for you guys.
It's gonna end up on. It's gonna end up on the back of a T-shirt somewhere,
Oh, it is.
or it's gonna end up in a Nike ad somewhere. Like, but Devontae Smith, right? Like, I think there's no indication that I shouldn't say it. There's every indication that I
That
think
he's
they're
gonna
gonna
play, right?
that he's gonna play. That there's gonna be they'll have the full repertoire of weapons at their request. And I think that this is, you know, I like the utilization of Fred Johnson in some of those short yardage plays, instead of bringing in a not blocking tight end, to bring in Fred Johnson to be essentially the guy, the tight end that lines up on the end of the line.
Right.
I'm just looking at this team and going, I think this is it has the potential to be a really, really, really good game.
It does. It really does. And you know, they won the game, but you know, some of the stats and some of the stuff that I did see, you know, people put online and watching the news and whatnot. You know, I think the Eagles need to be a little bit less predictable. You know, some of their pre-snap lineup.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the percentages, you know, when they lined up a certain way, it was like 80 some or 90% they were going to pass. And then they lined up in another way. It was like 80 to 90%. It was going to be a run. Now, you know, you're learning. Kevin Patullo's
Mm-hmm.
learning, but to maximize this offense and to get it to its full potential, you know,
Right.
you line up. Oh, look at how they're lined up. Whenever they line up like that, it's going to be a
Yeah.
pass. Oh no, it's not. Now it's going to be a run. You have to keep, you know, you got to keep the defense on its toes. But you know, he's going to learn that
Mm-hmm.
as the season goes. But you know, I mean, you have the personnel, you have the players at every position. You just have to, you know, you have to utilize them and you have to use them.
Oh, most definitely.
Early and
Yeah.
often.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, because that's another way you can keep the defense, you know, off balance is, you know, the quick passing game or taking a deep shot.
For
You know,
sure.
it opens up so many other aspects for the offense.
Joe, and not to go back to Kansas City, but like we completely whiffed on mentioning anything about Zadarius Smith, right? A guy who gets
Oh,
signed
dude, you know me
midweek,
and Darius.
right? He gets signed midweek and is making impact. Like he played almost
Immediately.
20 snaps and had an immediate impact on the pass rush. So like he's another guy that can get home, and I'm looking for a big win from the Birds. I'm looking to start 3-0, right? And really kind of keep this train moving as they're kind of gonna, you know, they're gonna go into the following weekend to play Tampa. I think this is I'm gonna say, Joe, 27-24
That's funny
Birds.
because
And I think it's only close because they score late.
okay, yeah. I mean, I think that was pretty much my score too. I mean, I see it being, you know, a field goal game as well. Yeah, probably somewhere in the 20s. Not to steal your score, but just because you have really good teams. We're both very good teams. We're both undefeated, so it's, you know, it could come down to a play at the end, an Elliott late field goal.
Very much so.
But yeah, and how about Elliott? I mean, Elliott doesn't look like they were talking about after the game against Kansas City. There was a lot of talk that he was playing with an injury all of last year, which is why he was completely off. But he's been great.
He's been great, right? The 50-plus yard kicks have been money, not like no sweat, and like the one he had one that went, it was 58 on the field, but on the on the
Pushing
commentary,
70, yeah.
they were like it would have been good from 70.
Yeah.
He looks great, and that is going to be a tremendous asset when you can get points on drives. Anytime you can get points on drives, whether it's 7 or 3, stacking those point totals is going to be something that is a huge asset for this team when they can get points off drives.
Right. And
So
the quick passing game has to be right in Jalen's pocket, because they were able to, their pass rush in that playoff game got home a lot.
Very much so.
Those guys are tough up front for the Rams. So that's got to be the focus this week is, and blitzing. I mean, Kansas City blitzed us a lot, and we had a tough time with it. So you better believe the Rams are going to do the same thing. And they probably have better personnel. So it's going to be crucial for this game plan this week for them to have the hot read, the hot routes, multiple options, not just Saquon out of the backfield, which is, I have no problem with that, but there's got to be something, there's got to be other guys in this very vanilla route tree where they say, if they're coming the A gap, this is where the ball is going to go. If they're coming the B gap, this is, if the safety's coming, if the corner's coming, if they're doing zero blitz, this is what we're going to do. So there really has to be the focus this week.
Very much so. Joe, before we jump out of here,
In the high-stakes world of fantasy football, the managers who obsess over stats and waiver wires are part of an elite squad known as the Fantasy Unit. These are their stories.
Joe, the story this week. 1, Rich and I got to call you out on a violation.
No, I already know.
Joe, you tried to sneak Devontae Smith into the tight end spot.
I wasn't paying attention. And I still won.
No, Rich won.
Did he win?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
He won when he put in the
total.
Oh, so Joe, you have the most points accumulated.
Right.
We all have 2 league points. So you get 2 points for the win, 1 point for the tie, 1 point for second, and then no points for third. We all have 2 league points. So it's but Joe, I thought the Derrick Henry matchup this week, I thought was like a
no-brainer. Slam dunk.
No-brainer. Joe, 1 point.
How is that even possible?
1 point.
I know.
But my use of Derrick Henry in this fantasy draft, where it is the fantasy survivor, I burned Derrick Henry for 1 point. All the other ones are kind of negligible, right? Like double digits on a bunch of other guys, but like I was really hoping Derrick Henry would. And if Derrick Henry has a normal game,
15,
I would have been competitive.
Yeah.
But like, Joe, you had a big day from St. Brown. That was a huge get for you.
He carried me.
Right? You had with St. Brown had a big day with 41 points. Rich went with Drake May, and Drake May put up 30, and Jonathan Taylor put up 32. Right? So this is the part of this that I love. That it's like we're all gonna have weeks like Rich had. Rich tried to play the like I'm gonna be cute the first week and like not use a bunch of really prominent guys.
Yeah.
And it cost him. I tried to think. I'm trying to play the matchups and look at Derrick Henry, and I get burned. And now I burned Derrick Henry for the year.
Oof.
With a 1 point with a 1 point game in a matchup that I thought for sure was gonna play out. So, Joe, any strategies that you're using in this? Like I'm trying to look at matchups. But are there guys that you are saving? Are there guys that you're targeting? What's been the strategy so far in the first 2 weeks?
I think it's I'm just trying to like sprinkle in guys that I feel like that are going to perform no matter what, and then try to sprinkle in a couple of guys that are probably going to do good, but they just don't have the bigger name. I'm just trying to balance it out where
for sure
I could just have, it's all about winning, man. It's all about just having more points than the other team.
I mean, it's all about finding that glory hole.
Throw it at a wall and see what sticks.
I mean, for real, Joe, but here, you ready for a name, Joe?
Oh, God.
Joe, the matchup of Minnesota and Cincinnati is going to feature an exciting quarterback matchup of Carson Wentz and Jake Browning.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. It's a really exciting. Any chance you use Carson Wentz this week, Joe?
What are you fish? Are you fishing? Are you fishing, Don? Are you fishing?
Hey, listen.
Hey,
Joe,
man,
as
don't
someone
put it
who has
past me,
already penciled, I've already penciled in Daniel Jones.
Don't put it past me. I might pull the trigger on that.
Hey, listen, Joe. Can you name the 6 teams that Carson Wentz has played for?
6.
6.
Eagles, Washington, the Chiefs, the Rams, the Vikings, and oh shoot! Don't tell me. Give me a minute. Give me a hint. I know it. I just can't draw a blank right now.
Right. So you went Eagles,
Washington,
Chiefs,
Washington, Rams, Minnesota.
It's the team that he got traded to.
Oh, duh, the Colts.
He's played for in the last. He has played for a different team
every season.
Every season since he left. Indy, Washington, the Rams, Kansas City, and now Minnesota.
And there's a shot that when we go out there that there's a shot. Depends on how healthy McCarthy is. But
listen, JJ McCarthy looked awful. Right? JJ McCarthy looks terrible. Something tells me that the injury that he there might be an exaggeration of the injury.
It's worse than originally thought.
But yeah, I think Joe, in a couple of weeks, I think you get a Wentz Hurts matchup in Minnesota.
Do I pull out the Wentz wagon from my shed?
God, only if you're taking the trash down to the corner.
Yeah. No, actually, you know what?
That's all that wagon's good for, Joe.
It broke just like he did.
Wheels are falling off. Axles are cracked.
Yeah.
Handle falls off when you pull it.
Fall off. I thought he was going to retire.
Joe, the handle falls off. It comes back and hits you in the back of the ankles.
I thought he was going to retire. What happened?
I mean, listen, they traded, right? They traded the backup quarterback to the Eagles. And immediately, and almost like they had the handshake deal with Wentz kind of waiting there. And listen, I don't put it past the coach in Minnesota to be able to do some work. Now, listen, he spent all last year with Andy Reid, who couldn't be more of a quarterback whisperer. And that game that he – now, mind you, the game that he plays at the end of the year against the Broncos was with absolute garbage. Like, there was nobody on the field to help him. But he looked atrocious.
Like a deer in headlights.
I mean, he looked about as bad as he could have looked. So, listen, no, right? There's absolutely zero expectation for him, but just thought it was funny that we're now talking in a week where you're going to see Daniel Jones, who's playing really well in Indy, Carson Wentz, Jake Browning. You've got some really mediocre to backup quarterbacks. And I'm curious to see how it affects, right? Because you're talking about it just in Minnesota and Cincinnati, talking about two really big wide receiver targets, right? In Cincinnati, in Chase and Higgins, and Jamar Jefferson.
Hey,
Jefferson.
he would be good too. Jamar Jefferson.
Right?
Holy shit!
Oh my god! Listen. At this point, I might go just sit down and watch the Jeffersons. It's been that kind of night. Oh, listen, I'm old enough to have found them on Nick at Night, so it's all good. All good. Joe, anything on the way out? Final thoughts?
It's just great that football's back, man. I mean, it really, it's life, man.
It's the most wonderful time.
It is. It's like Christmas
year.
Morning until
it really is.
Hopefully until February. So,
I mean, Joe, you got October baseball. The baseball team in this city could not be playing any better.
Don't tease me, Don. We've had our heart broken so many times, Don.
Hey, listen, Joe, you got to bleed to know bliss.
You got to ride it. That's right. You got to ride it. I mean,
I wouldn't have it any other way.
From what you're seeing with, not to get away from the Eagles, but everybody's contributing. Everybody is contributing on the Phillies. Pitching, hitting. That's how you win. You just can you do it next month?
Listen, we are certainly going to see, right? Because they have the horses, they have the talent, but you could not be asking the team to play any better. And now you're going to see, right? And this is the great part about when all of this city, when the confluence of this city, all centers in South Philadelphia, right? Because you're going to have, right, the Sixers and Flyers are going to be playing in a couple weeks. You're going to have this team playing into October. You're going to see this Eagles team be playing at the top of the NFC.
Yep.
The vibes in this city could not be any higher, right? And I think that's, for me, that's where this city just shines.
Itself.
It really does. And the vibes around the city are great. Everybody's feeling really good. So I'm looking at this, Joe, and I'm going, I just love this time of year. It is truly a really great time of year. So
it's like no other, man. Like the clip I saw today with Bradley Cooper walking with his girlfriend, and then the cameras are flashing, the paparazzi, this and that, and he's got his hand in his left hand, and it was during the Eagles game against the Chiefs.
Love it.
He's got it out, and you can see the Eagles are on his phone. So it's just great, man. It's great to see the support. It's great to see the love. I mean, there's no other sports city like this in the world. So it's just great that we're a part of it, Don, and it's great that we're at the top. It's a great time to be alive.
It's a great time for the tushy pushy.
Pushing those tushes.
All right, Joe. On the way out, go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Go Birds.
Go Birds.